Publish from here, publish from there, publish from everywhere. I will not be speaking in rhyme or riddle because my brain is too little. That's all I got. My name is David Ronson. I am here representing TD Industries. I've been in this space for quite a while. Some of you might know me from my Evolve days. Kind of brought that to market, decided to leave, ended up at TD Industries, and been here ever since. TD Industries is a contractor in the Texas market, some in the Phoenix and Denver market. They service, pretty diverse, right? We've got the large projects, small projects, service, process solutions, pretty well diversified also across the geographies, every major market in Texas, and then obviously in Phoenix and Denver. So when I came to TD, they were still in AutoCAD, and Stratus was not a thing, okay? So they've gone through some very, very extreme technology changeovers, and Stratus and Revit were one of those things. So it's been a very interesting couple of years at TD Industries. This topic is a bit near and dear to my heart because I am a big fan of the fabrication database. I'm a big fan of the centralized database concept. Okay, so I like to have. Why am I having this topic? I want to discuss the importance of the Stratus tie-in to fabrication, how it piggybacks on database-driven concepts used to cross-communicate between business units without translation or conversions. Conversions are similar to languages, whereas it is very difficult to fully communicate as things are often lost in context. Miscommunication even happens in the same language. So, I can say the same words and you might hear something different, right? Because of the meaning of words are different to you than they are to me. No other technology offers this translation-dependent process in the MEP trades, while others offer solutions that span multiple business units. There's always a translation that must happen, which ultimately means each business unit has their own standalone database leaning on mappings to tie them together. Okay, so we're not trying to piecemeal some technologies together to create a comprehensive solution. This is a comprehensive solution. If you adopt it, right, you can seamlessly communicate from your pre-con division to your manufacturing, or manufacturing back to VDC, or VDC back to pre-con, right? You can jump around depending on the problems that you're trying to solve. Again, kind of talked about it. Why is this important? Fabrication database touches multiple business units. It touches your pre-construction. It touches your VDC, manufacturing, field, and procurement. Okay, and database-driven technologies are structured, organized data storage. They improve data integrity and accuracy, easy, efficient querying and searching, scalability for handling large data sets, data consistency. I don't know why that's short, across multiple users, right? So these are just some points of why databases are powerful, right? They have some significantly more uses than just siloed information in Excel, or, right, you've got your data set and you've got your data set, and we try to find ways to marry them up. So when you say 2-inch water gauge, what does that mean to me, right? A specific spec, do I get the same result in a spec as you do, depending on the software platform that we're using? We don't have those problems in fabrication. So I graphed this up. On the right side, you'll see the centralized data set, right? That would be fabrication. And that feeds your estimating software at the top. To the right is CADMEP. To the bottom right's Revit, CAMduct, and Stratus. Okay? So we're creating an ecosystem of softwares and platforms around this centralized data set. All right. Thing number one was Revit. How many of you are in Revit? How many of you are not in Revit? Any AutoCAD users? Nobody? Or you just don't want to raise your hand? You're in both? Okay. All right. So he's adopted a kind of a hybrid workflow. All right. So we load our fabrication database into Revit, and we model with it, right? What does that mean? All those parts and pieces that we have in our database, the centralized data, it's all inherently baked into all these things as we model, right? And we publish this beautiful model to Stratus, and we get all the data that I had in my fabrication database on the parts and pieces that I click on, right, in Stratus. I can now see what the material is. I can see what the gauge is. I can see how many pounds, right? I can see labor, material cost, right? I can see all that information. I can see more information in Stratus than I can see here inside of Revit, okay? So obviously, I'm not saying anything new, and quite frankly, I love that you guys are all in this room because I feel like I'm saying something that may not be all that groundbreaking or earth-shattering. There are other 2 great sessions, so if you stand up and walk out, I won't be offended. I'll just call you out by name. All right. Thing 2 is AutoCAD. All right, so you can detail in AutoCAD. How many of you guys have never detailed in AutoCAD? You were always a Revit company. No? Okay, so we're all very familiar with the AutoCAD space. Our files are broken up we have a lot more files, I guess, in the AutoCAD world. But the common theme, right? The commonality here is what? This palette right here, right? I can get that same palette in Revit, and I can get that same palette in AutoCAD, and I can model with it, and I can publish it to Stratus. And guess what? When I go click on that thing in Stratus, I'm going to see the exact same data that I would see if I was modeling that thing in Revit, okay? This is about the fabrication database. The way I perceive Revit and AutoCAD and CAM and EST, those are all secondary to the core fabrication database, okay? All right, so publishing to Stratus from AutoCAD is actually, it's faster just because there's fewer parts typically in our models. The publish times have obviously improved pretty significantly. So it really doesn't make a whole lot of value being in CAD anymore. Somebody posted on ExtraCAD just last week. You might even be in here, I don't know. They were asking about the sectioning tool. And I had PTSD. I'm like, I backed out of that comment so fast. I don't want nothing to do with that. Sectioning in Revit, it's just like, thank you for reminding me of one of the reasons why we went to Revit. Fantastic compared to that. All right, don't have to solve those problems anymore. Thing 3. Now this is new, publishing from ESTmep to Stratus. Pretty sick if you ask me. Something I've been asking Stratus for a long time, and they finally went out and pulled it off. So when you download the publishing add-in, if you have EST installed, it just installs the publisher too, okay? Now, I think you have to have it enabled. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's a feature that you have to have enabled because it's something new. What's that? 24 and newer? Okay. 24 and newer, EST, if that's true or not? I don't know. But if you have a model in EST, you can push it to Stratus. Now, what are the possibilities there, right? When you win a job, you can go to your pre-con division, get that ESTmep model, push it up to Stratus. What do you do with it? I don't know, right? I have things that I do with it. I have ideas of where we're going with it. But having that ability, what happens when I go click on one of those parts sourced from this database? I get the same data in Stratus that I did when I was publishing from CAD, the same data when I was publishing from Revit, okay? This is just another platform that Stratus is allowing us to push information into or from, right? And be as creative as you want, right? With what do you do now that you have this ability? The difference, and I don't have a pointer. Do I have a pointer? I have a pointer. All right, so there's this checkbox here for package. That checkbox is not in the Revit or AutoCAD publisher. That, if you have a, let's think of it as a small model. I want everything in this model in a package. I don't want to push it to Stratus and then make packages. I want to push it to Stratus and have it make a package. Okay? That's what that option there is for, right? So if I have a small model and let's say it's, less than 1,000 pounds or whatever your sheet metal requirement is, right? I can push that to Stratus. I can pick the package category. I can define a description. I can give it a number, and then I can hit publish, and that pushes it to Stratus, and it makes the package for me. So it's removed some clicks for me out of Stratus. Now I don't have to go do that, right? Because right now, when we go to Stratus, we got to go to the model, make a selection, make filters, do something, right? Then make a package. So this is attempting to streamline that for us, and works pretty good. So how many of you guys did not know that you could publish from Est? All right, you learned something. Cool. All right. Thing 4, same thing, different platform. Publishing from CAMduct. All right, it's pretty sick. Now, yeah, I'm just running some stuff in the background just to show you it's CAMduct. But same thing, package. You can check the package and define a number, give a description, package category, and hit publish, right? So think about what opportunities this would open up for you, right? At TD, I am not a big fan of having multiple different workflows for different sources of information coming to manufacturing. Okay, so you have BIM models, and then you have projects that order things directly to manufacturing, right? They didn't go through BIM. So there's no CAD model, there is no Revit model, but somebody has to receive that order through email or whatever your communication method is, and you got to take it off. They want 2 straights, an elbow, this is the metal, this is the gauge, connectors, yada, 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 right? And you got to do something with it. And I want that workflow to go through Stratus. Stratus is my manufacturing software. It's it's on the computer that everyone on the shop floor is working through. I don't want to have a completely different process for things that are hand tickets. We call them hand tickets. I call them field orders, field tickets, hand orders, whatever you want to call them, okay? So before this came out, before CAMduct came out with this super cool publisher, we were publishing directly from AutoCAD. So I had the guys in manufacturing who are in the office. They were taking off the orders in AutoCAD and publishing it. Okay, not a whole lot different, but why would I have them in AutoCAD, which is it's like giving them a cannon when they need a BB gun, right? Why would I give them something that's so complex when they're already familiar with CAMduct? I should just put them inside of that platform, and it's significantly more intuitive. Think about this too. If they're publishing from CAMduct, do I need to generate an MAJ out of Stratus and download it and then process it, right? It's already in CAMduct, right? Why don't I just process this one, right? So again, we're removing steps out of the process that really don't need to be there, okay? So again, this is one of those things where you have this ability, what can you do with it? Really kind of up to your imagination. I don't know, did somebody in Stratus know for sure if that's true or not? Okay. Any version you can download. So basically Autodesk's past 3. Gotcha. There you go. Answer. Yes. Right. So a certain amount of your BIM model never gets right. It's a machine hookup. It's a scenario where they don't want to manufacture directly from the model, or they don't want to install directly from the model. They're going to field measure, and then they're going to order that separately, right? That's why you would do this, whether it's that scenario or it's a project that it's a small project and there's no BIM budget for it. We're just doing a tenant finish out or something. It looks like an AutoCAD model. I don't know, ask them. That's not my job, right? It's there, it works, I click on it, it gives me information. Correct, right. Because I can status it, I can follow all the same procedurals that I do with my BIM projects. I can follow the same procedures with everything, okay? CAMduct does have a viewer. You can place it graphically where it goes, but most CAMduct people don't use it. Remote entry? What about it? I'm guessing no, but you can open the remote entry job in CAMduct and publish it. Anybody not know what remote entry is? Remote entry is a software that comes with your CAMduct subscription. It's free. Free-ish. I mean, you can rip it off and just hand it out to anybody you want it. Just don't tell Autodesk I said that. Autodesk is not in here, hopefully. Okay. But it's like a takeoff tool. But it runs. You need a Windows machine. It's not. You can't run it on an iPad. If they made it run on an iPad, it would absolutely dominate the space. But it's just you can go to your database, place things, and actually there's no model viewer. It's just a takeoff form. All right. But wait, there's more. Thing 5. And it's a little bit less obvious up here. Stratus Lightning. All right. So this is a tool inside of Stratus that leverages your database, if you published it to Stratus Lightning, and gives it back to you. And you can publish things from here, okay? So I can push my database up to the cloud, and let's say VDC models a package, and they send it down, and they did not model the couplings, right? But manufacturing needs 5 of these, 10 of these, 20 of these in order to actually build the product, right? There's a lot of things VDC doesn't model because it doesn't make sense to model, right? And if you do find yourself modeling things that do not add value to the coordination, right? Or like what you're being paid to do, right? This is a great solution to fill in those gaps. Once it gets down to manufacturing, they can go to the package. You can't see it on. I didn't really do a deep dive into this feature, but I'm going to explain it briefly. How much time do I have? I got time? Okay. So when you go into the package, there's a little plus sign right about here behind this screen. If you've uploaded your database, there's a little plus sign. You click on that plus sign and it opens this super slick window, okay? And this is pre-baked with all these ways to filter your job or your database. What profile are you looking for? What service type? What service? What material? What manufacturer? Connector? Part type? Okay, so you can. And this folder structure here reduces itself dynamically with these filters, okay? Which is a fantastic way to browse your library, okay? So if you're looking for couplings, you might just come up here and search the word coupling. And everything that has the word coupling is only things that show up in this filter. And then you just click over here. How many do you want? 5, 10 of these. Click the plus sign and publish. Okay, so this is what I'm calling a mini publish. Okay, you can publish this to Stratus directly from here. So you can publish this directly into an already existing package. Or, right, you can make a package the manual way, go click new package on the dashboard, have a completely empty package, and I can fill it up with parts and pieces. This doesn't offer any graphical value, but the data is there, right? I can go click the auto BOM tool right in Stratus. It'll generate a BOM from this. What does this mean? Labor data, material data, everything that I would have gotten had I published this from CAD, CAM, EST, Revit, I can get all that same data by using this tool right here, right? So I think of this as, and I explained this like this way last year. In Texas, we have this corridor of cities, right? You got San Antonio, Austin, Waco, Dallas, right? And I live in Austin, and let's say I need to get to Dallas. Without this tool, for me to add parts, I got to drive some other route down to San Antonio to get on the highway to go to Dallas, right? This tool allows me to get on the highway in Austin and go to Dallas, okay? So this is a shortcut to say, you know what? BIM is cool, but BIM is not the solution to everything. We need on-ramps to this workflow, okay? And the more on-ramps we get, the significantly more powerful Stratus becomes, and the significantly more powerful your database becomes to this workflow, okay? All right, anybody not know about that feature? Ooh, got more hands, cool. All right. You can make a one-off package. You can add parts to an existing package. So we use it heavily for batteries. There's a lot of supplementary steel that goes into that, couplings, whatever, brackets. As a matter of fact, it puts this quick use parts. So, we have a guy who focuses on plumbing batteries. So he doesn't have to browse this catalog constantly. He just clicks here and clicks quantity and add. Bam, 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 bam. He's done. This takes maybe 5 minutes. 5 minutes longer than I want it to take, right? But it's a 5-minute mini publish of parts into a BIM model that has already been done. Yep. Cool stuff if you ask me. All right. Couple more minutes. Gotta go faster. How many more minutes? I had a slide in here. It's not going to come up. But there is the queries. They covered it in the last session. The queries in Stratus. Jonathan created some reports about your publishes, and you can create basically a Power BI dashboard without a developer. You don't need a developer to do this. You can just map those queries into Power BI, and you can understand your publish times. So our CAM and EST publishes take us about 9 minutes, and our Revit models take us roughly 30 minutes. And I can see a dynamic. I can see every day how many publishes from CAMduct went in, how many publishes from CAD, how many publishes from Revit. It's a very slick way of understanding how long it takes to process an order, right? So basically what I learned is that CAMduct and EST, when you look at it as parts per published minute, right? I think there's certain amount of time it takes in the publish, regardless of what Stratus does, it almost can't be improved. That's how long it's going to take, period. So 9 minutes for a CAMduct publish is 9 minutes longer than I want it to take, right? But significantly better than Revit. AutoCAD is very, very low time to get that in. All right, so questions. Everybody kind of already asked questions, but any more questions? Going once. I know, they're just dumbfounded. Learned something you didn't. Is there enough time for them to hit? It is pretty freaking cool. And it's because it's based on my database. That's the sick part about it, right? No matter where my data is coming from, it's coming from this centralized source. So whatever I put in there, I get it. All right? Yeah. No, because they're not an ITM. So what we've done is, let's say, and we had an ancillary item for like Unistrut for the hangars. right? So basically, we can make a unistrut part out of, you can make the steel patterns are all supported. They're not supported in Revit. So all those steel patterns also work. So you can make a part out of that, right? But we have tied the ancillary data directly to just a square block in an ITM. It's a thing that typically is an ancillary. It's a box of nuts, right? That's all it is. Graphically, there's nothing to see. But we need something to host the data, so that hosts that. Publishing from CAMduct, let me add Opus parts. How many of you guys know what Opus parts are in CAMduct? Okay, think of it, anybody know what DXF is? DXF, okay, so DXF is just a shape. So let's say the city of Milwaukee comes and orders, they're like, hey, we're gonna overhaul our Christmas decorations. We need 1,000 Christmas trees out of 12 gauge metal, right? Be like, well, there's no Christmas tree pattern, right, in the fabrication database, right? So you just draw out the Christmas tree that they need, load it into CAMduct, it's called the Opus part. And Opus parts are supported in this publishing, okay? So you can quantify all these flat, how many of you guys ever tried to load an Opus part into AutoCAD and publish it? It doesn't work. What works is now is we publish from CAMduct. So this significantly simplifies my database and how this works. Something else is really sick. Are you fixing to come up here? Sit down. Publishing, using the AddPart tool, how many of you guys know what subassemblies are? Subassemblies are groups of parts that you can give dynamic dimensions to. So I could create a water drop in my database of 10 parts and give it certain dimensions, okay? And I can now, with AutoCAD, CAMduct, and the AddPart tool, if I publish a subassembly, it basically explodes that BOM. So I get a high level water drop order, but I also have the details of all the things that are needed to build that water drop in my BOM. They didn't do that on purpose, right? But that is a fantastic behavior, right? That I would want if I was chasing after the productization. How many guys are really going after productization? Nobody. That's an Amy Marks term. Like, I ain't doing that. Okay. So if you make a product, you can make a product out of ITMs, okay? And then order those over and over and over and over, right? Build your BOM very quickly. All right. I can be done now.
All right. Thanks, David. Thank you.